Thank you, Dan. Welcome, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 58 degrees outside. We're looking for a high in the 80s, upper 80s today, Shane, maybe 90. We almost hit 90 yesterday, or we did at our house anyway. It was 90 on our deck and pretty nice. Wife and I sat outside, had a adult beverage, and just kind of enjoyed the day after persevering and working so hard as we do here every morning.
Well, it is September. We're a year in, and I just enjoy listening to you talk about more hot weather in September because it's like, don't go away. Please don't go away. Please don't go away. It's coming, buddy. Whatever you want to call it, fall, cold fall, snow
It
fall,
is
whatever.
coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming next week. Actually, we're going to be in the 60s by Monday or Sunday, somewhere in there. Yeah, we're going to start dropping in temperature as we go along here. So. Our weather right at the moment, though, sunny. We're looking for a high of 88 to 89 today. Calm winds, no big deal there. Tonight, partly cloudy, low around 56. No precip in the forecast at the moment. But Friday, the rain moves in, and chance of rain, then showers, and possibly a thunderstorm afternoon on Friday. The high will be 76, quite a drop for us. And 80% chance of precip. So get your umbrella back out. We've had a couple of weeks of not too much rain, so this will be kind of nice. So new rainfall amounts, 10th and a quarter of an inch. So we're expecting to get something out of this and expect higher amounts possibly during the thunderstorm. So Friday night, showers continue, possibly a thunderstorm after 9 p.m. or before 9 p.m. rather. Then rain mainly between 9 p.m. and midnight, and 70% chance of precip on Friday night. Saturday, 20% chance of rain again before noon, and mostly sunny with a high near 73. And then on Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 49. So you might get a little damp at the Bobcat game on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunday looks pretty good, though. There is a slight chance of rain, then a chance of showers and thunderstorms afternoon. Mostly cloudy with a high near 71 and 50% chance of precip on Sunday. And then on Sunday night, showers likely and possibly a thunderstorm before midnight. Then a chance of rain after midnight and a low around 48 degrees on Sunday night. And Monday, we're going to get rain again, mainly before noon. Partly sunny, but the high is only going to be 66 degrees, Shane. 66.
It's a coming, baby.
From 90 today to 66 on a Monday. 44 will be the overnight low. That'll be a little dippy, too, if you're out,
That's right.
if you're out running around. So.
Your winter prediction of 20 feet of snow is still recorded, buddy.
Yeah, it's coming on. Yep.
It's on a download somewhere.
we're going to get some snow sooner or later here. So temperatures around the area right now, Livingston's right at 50 degrees and fair over there. Manhattan's 49. Three Forks is 49. Let's see, Gateway's 56. Ennis is 56. Big Sky's 53. And at the airport in Belgrade is 53 degrees. Right now we're at 58 degrees over here at our lavishly appointed studios in downtown Bozeman at 9 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. So that's your weather for the coming week. And you're gonna get wet. So learn it, live it, love it.
Oh, that's too funny. I love it. That's great.
Yeah. On this date in 1698, a lot of stuff happened in the 1600s, you know it?
It's incredible when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Russia's Peter the Great imposed a tax on beards. There you go. How do you, Gillette, love that.
That's Jamestown's trying to survive 400 years ago, and here the Russian Empire is charging for a beard tax to raise money to fight the Chinese. Well, anyway, the supposed reason for the beard tax was to bring Russian society in line with Western European models, which is sort of strange because publicly shaved. People that refused to pay the tax were publicly shaved. I mean,
Publicly shaved.
yeah, and not shamed, shaved.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, you paid 100 rubles per year for this luxury, and you carried a beard token.
Oh, okay. So if you had the beard, you could flash the token and say, "Hey, I paid my dues, so I can have my beard." And
that's right. You may not have any rubles in your pocket, but you had your beard.
You had your beard token with you at all times. All right.
There you go.
Well, in 1774, the First Continental Congress assembled in Philadelphia, and that was a big deal.
It was. It was. They first met September 5th, October 26th in 1774. Just 2 years before, the Carpenter's Hall in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Philadelphia, that's, that Ben Franklin, he had everybody going. Right?
He did, man. Yeah.
And they instituted what were called the Intolerable Acts. And they met because of the Intolerable Acts issued by England, rather.
Okay.
And the Intolerable Acts that's what they called them,
mm-hmm.
were laws meant to punish Massachusetts in particular in defiance of the Tea Party protest.
Well, they should. Massachusetts.
Throw that tea away. We had
Who
to go
wants
to
to live
China.
there? Who wants to live there? Or Connecticut, either one.
China to get that tea, and then you threw it away in the harbor. Bad, not good, not good at all.
Yeah. In 1836, on this day, Sam Houston was elected the president of the Republic of Texas. Many people didn't know that we had a Republic of Texas before we had the state of Texas. So.
That's correct, and he is the only American to serve as governor of two states. He was the 6th governor of Tennessee and the 7th governor of Texas. So, this guy was a busy guy,
mm-hmm.
born in Rockridge County, Virginia. Went to Tennessee with his family and spent time with the Cherokee. They gave him the name Raven. So he may not have had Cherokee blood, but he was a member of the tribe.
All right.
He served under General Andrew Jackson in the War of 1812, which gave him all the knowledge to work his way through Texas and help after settling there in 1832 to free it at the Battle of Gonzales. So,
mm-hmm.
He after the war, he won election to the in the 1836 Texas presidential election. So he was the first president of Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But after winning that, he worked with President Polk to annex Texas because of the fear they still had from, Mexico coming back after him. And he supported Polk's prosecution of the Mexican-American War, which we talked about. After Polk grabbed Texas, they went to war against Mexico, 1846 to 1848. And we've talked about that where, America ended up with 50% of Mexico.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, this Houston guy.
Too stupid to keep it, I guess, huh?
Houston was a big guy. He accomplished a lot for your country, yeah.
Well, and also he met Santa Anna after the Alamo. He was training troops to beat Santa Anna on the way north. And so that was, he was quite a guy, yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
The
I think didn't they name a city in Texas after him, Dallas or something, or I don't know.
Houston.
Houston. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
So at the Battle of Gonzales, when he met Santa Anna, good
thing they didn't call it Gonzales, huh?
Up until that point, the rallying cry with Texas, of course, was "Remember the Alamo."
Right.
And then when they confronted Santa Anna on October 2nd, 1835, the cry was, "Come and take it."
Right.
If you Mexicans think you can win this, come and take it.
Make my day.
Which probably didn't make a lot of sense because they were yelling it in English, and of course the Mexicans spoke Spanish. So
right. I don't know what they're saying. Just shoot them.
Just.
Well, in 1882, on this date, the nation's first Labor Day parade was held in New York City. Back in 1882, first Labor Day parade.
We talked about that last week. It was organized by the International Unionists, but Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing that it started a lot earlier than most people may think. But anyway, Central Labor Union of New York City and the Knights of Labor organized the parade, and then, as we said before, in 1887, Oregon was the first state of the United States to make it an official public holiday.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. 1905, the Treaty of Portsmouth, ending the Russo, I don't know. Russian and Japanese War was signed in New Hampshire. Why are we signing a Russian-Japanese war in New Hampshire of all places?
It's because of President Theodore Roosevelt. Carry a big stick guy.
Okay.
So specifically wanted them to meet in Portsmouth, which is, as you pointed out, in Maine. But guess what was there?
It's in New Hampshire, actually, but. You had a Biden mistake there.
I know, but I'm just saying that the negotiations were from August 6th to August 30th at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard in Kittery, Maine. So Theodore Roosevelt wanted these Russians and Japanese to see what the U.S. was doing in building a navy.
Okay,
took
them there and then signed this. Whatever the treaty was.
Outside the windows, the banging and thumping of military might being created in front of their faces.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. They seem confused. They seem to be doing an awful lot of traveling in those days when traveling wasn't all that easy. They're going from Maine to Vermont. I mean, come on. What was that, a 3-day trip by horse or something? I don't know. These guys are pretty stupid. I don't know. Anyway, we got to take a break here. We got to take care of the ranchers, farmers, truck drivers, and cab drivers, and everybody else that does that. And, of course, Babbel's back. You want to hear about Babbel. Of course, we always want to hear about Babbel's and Big Sky RV. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. 24 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019. 58 degrees outside. We're looking for a high near 90 today. And, from our text line, Shane, from yesterday, please tell Chris Griffin for Steve-O that the only true idiots are people who have never learn from their past mistakes, like Democrats, for example. And beard tokens, Shane's a knowledge guy and all, but sometimes I think he's got too much time on his hands. and that may be right. I don't know. And also from our text line, 478-8298, I can't wait for this 90-degree weather to go away. High in the 60s sounds heavenly, and I would agree with that. A little cooler won't hurt us at all.
That's right. Well, I just want everyone to know the reason I know so much about that beard tax.
Yeah.
When I was 10 in the 4th grade, I had a history teacher, and he'd come in and he'd post pictures of things on the chalkboard.
Yeah. And
whoever could tell him who that was, like a world political leader or someone in history,
right? Yeah,
would get extra points.
Yeah.
All right. So he put up this coin. So the reason I knew about this, I had to go to the library and search out what the heck it was to try and find out. That's what. How weird is that? That's 55 years ago. I mean, wow. I still remember it.
So there he is. He's not just a pretty face, folks, as you found out at the Grand Tree if you were there. Or he's more than just a pretty face, I should say.
Yeah, I like to think.
Yes, he does like to think so. Hey, don't forget, coming up at the 7 o'clock hour, we are going to give away tickets to Saturday's football game. The Southeast Missouri State's going to be in town, and the Bobcats are going to take them on about 6 o'clock in the evening under the lights. So if you want to win tickets, there's two ways as you can do it. One is at 7 o'clock. We'll take the whatever number caller we decide to take, or you can go to our app chat right now, AM 1450 KMMS, our app chat. Right next to the listen button is the app chat button, and all you have to do is text Soapbox to us, and you'll be in the drawing. So you got two ways to win. So if you don't have a smartphone, we are going to give them away by phone at 7 o'clock. So be in tune for that. and we'll give away 2 tickets over the air, and we'll give away 2 tickets from our app chat on our smartphone at AM 1450 KMMS app. So get both ways you can win. Wow.
Well, I have a dumb phone. It's a Samsung, and it's 5 years old. Because people that have all these smartphones because they buy new ones every year. But
Yeah.
I'm just not one of those people. I can't do it.
I guess. I think you and I have the same phone, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, if it
Got a Galaxy 5, I think.
Yeah, I got a Galaxy 5. It does everything except make or answer calls.
Mine just refuses to bake bread, but I try.
Okay.
I try.
All right, let's see. Where were we? 1914, the first battle of the something.
The Marne River.
The Marne River. Is that what that is?
That's what it is.
The first battle. Usually I go through this to make sure I can pronounce everything. If I can't, I look it up, But in this case, I didn't have the time. But what do I know, huh?
The battle is also known as the Miracle of the Marne. Why? Well, because Germany had invaded France in August of 1914, and there had been some skirmishes called the Battle of the Frontiers, where the Germans had driven the French back into Paris. So the French convinced the British and their British Expeditionary Force, and the French command decided to counterattack. I want to just tell everyone this because this was such a war of attrition. This was like the first major war. So you have to hear the numbers. So what happened is they go out to the Marne River and they cross it and attack the Germans and drive them north. So they actually won the battle. But to give you an idea, there was 5 French armies, 64 French divisions, and 6 British divisions. 1,082,000 men against 51 German divisions, 900,000 men. This is like the Napoleonic Wars of 100 years before. All right, folks, here it is. The casualties: 250,000 French, including 80,000 dead, 13,000 British, 1,700 dead, 250,000 wounded, including 67,700 dead. So you have 150,000 dead in this first battle and 500,000 wounded. What a terrible.
That's bad. All right, Montana State News coming up. Fox News, Brooke Foster weather, Gesundheit with Jacobus, and Sky Federal Credit and other stuff. And we'll be back. Shane and I promise we'll be back. And don't forget, you can win tickets at 7 o'clock. You can enter on your app chat right now. Just text Soapbox to us on the app chat, and you'll be in the drawing. So we'll be right back right after this. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, I believe it is, in the year of our Lord. 58 degrees outside. And we're looking for a high of 80-something today. The high 80s, I think, somewhere in there. So our poll question of the day, should you decide to accept that little challenge, is do you agree with Walmart's new policy on guns and ammo? Walmart's going to stop selling short shells for assault weapons, and they're going to start, I think, stop selling pistols or handguns or whatever. Or handgun ammunition. Handgun ammunition, yeah. So.
Hunting guns and the shotguns are going to continue.
Yeah, they will continue on. So preliminary at the moment, let's see where we are. I'll refresh our vote. Right now, 15 people say no, they're not happy with it. Most people are responsible gun owners. That's 93% so far in the early voting. And there's one other that says, as a capitalist, I support Walmart's right to choose what to sell or not to sell. And that's certainly a valid argument, I would say, that, they can make their own decision on what they want to do or what they don't want to do. I think they're caving to a lot of political correctness.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the story of Walmart is a bit scary because of what it did, to the U.S. and certainly to small businesses across your country. Yeah. When they talk about China, it's because of the products that Walmart brought in, and the Walton family is the wealthiest family in your country, probably in the world. Walmart is not small. I mean, it's the most widely. They employ more people than anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and 2.2 million people worldwide,
Yep.
1.5 million in the United States, and so it's one of these situations where the majority of their stores are in rural areas. That's
Yeah.
why this is so strange, because
Mm-hmm.
that's who's 11,389 stores worldwide and 31,000 in the United States. Excuse me, 11,389 stores worldwide. Majority of them are in the United States, but
Right.
but the majority of them in rural areas, like in your city, you've got a Walmart, and
Mm-hmm.
look how many stores it closed.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know that I don't know that Walmart closed a lot of stores here.
You don't think? Well, I was.
Well, I know it didn't because I drive downtown.
Well, no, but I'm saying that one of the big reasons isn't because you get 11 million tourists to your state every year.
Well,
and that
could be, but I bet they go to Walmart too.
Well, I think they do.
I see the RVs in the parking lot.
If you drive across Middle America, a
Yeah.
lot of small towns that have a Walmart, you'll see. You go to the downtown, where there are 30 or 40 stores and they're all closed and you set it up.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's purely political and a way to get younger millennials that may not be shopping to shop there even more. And then urban people that maybe don't shop there will maybe shop there because, like every corporation, they're trying to maintain their diversity of the buying public.
Yeah. Well, a couple things Walmart does. One is that they almost single-handedly control inflation.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, and they also make other competitors more honest in their pricing to be competitive. So
especially food.
Yeah,
Food
no
prices
question.
changed a lot in your country. When Walmart went into the food industry business, whatever, that created a level of competition that forced food prices to drop in a lot of stores.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. All right, we got to take another quick break. Coming up at 7:00, though, we're going to give away football tickets. So you'll have your chance to win at the top of the hour. We'll start taking phone calls. And you can also enter after 7:00 on your the AM 1450 app chat. We'll draw tickets after the show today and notify the winner who is on our smartphones. And all you have to do is go to app chat, which is right next to the listen button on your AM 1450 KMMS app. Click on the app chat button, and all you have to do is type soapbox and send it to us, and we will put all those together. We can sort obviously all the text by content, and then we've got a little program that'll pop one name out, and you'll be notified this morning. And
did you say pop? Did you
pop?
say
Yeah,
pop?
yeah, it'll pop out a name. Yeah, it'll just pop out a name. Yeah, it actually makes that sound. It goes pop, and here goes, here's somebody's name pops up. So, all right. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up at 7:00. We're going to be doing that for a lot of games this year. So we'll be doing that. And also next week, we'll be giving away tickets to Jay Owenhouse's show. We're going to have some VIP tickets. Backstage, you'll get to pet the tiger and all the stuff, see all the gizmos and everything. And that should be fun. So we'll be giving those away next week as we go along. So we got to take a quick break right now. We'll be right back right after this. 15 minutes for the top of the hour. It is Thursday, and it's September the 5th, and it's 2019, and it's 57 degrees outside, and we're looking for a high of 90 degrees or so today. And from our text line, 478-8298, as for me, I will no longer be a smelly Walmart shopper. And that's signed by not Shane's sister, Tam. So.
Well, that's the one thing that they risk, because this whole issue with China, Walmart's in the middle of it, because over 80% of their products come from China.
Oh, I know. Yeah. They're going to have to talk to Vietnam and Malaysia and Indonesia and Bangladesh, and I don't know. Africa.
Rural Americans are more inclined to choose where they're going to shop than people in urban areas.
That's true. That's true. So, well, I think I don't know. I walked by our gun selection in Walmart the other day, and they got a nice group of weapons there. So, you know.
Well, yeah, as they should.
But here, there's other places you can buy weapons. Obviously, the pawn shops have them, and of course, I don't know about some of the sporting goods places because I'm I'm built for comfort, not for speed. So I.
Yeah, but sporting goods have to have them because everything's seasonal. Fishing,
well, that's
seasonal,
true. Yeah,
hunting, seasonal. So they got to cover their seasons so they have something to sell.
I mean, if I was skiing, I'd carry a rifle for bears, because bears look at skiers like trout jumping out of the lake, or the salmon or whatever. So the bears go, look, food.
Just believe me, carry a flare. It's more effective than bear spray.
That's
a flare
right.
is a lot more effective.
Is it? Okay, I'll carry a flare. Yeah, okay, fire they don't like.
Yeah, they're scared of a flare, believe me.
Yeah.
Personal experience.
Yeah. And plenty of time to snap that baby, too. Pull it out of your pocket, tear it apart, and pop it right before the bear.
Yeah,
jaws are clamping down on your head.
Yeah, but you got to have at least 3,
All right. Well,
the first one you snap, you throw right at them, and then you light another one.
Oh, then you do another one. Okay, then they figure you got more than one, so they're going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
real
good.
quick.
Well, in 1939, on this date, the United States proclaimed its neutrality in World War II. We are neutral in this baby, right?
I'm glad you brought it up because, this was the fourth of several neutrality acts, neutrality acts, 1935, 36, 37, 38. But I got to read this one. This is so important. Does this sound familiar? So in 1934, the Nye Committee, which was set up by Senator Gerald Nye of all places, Republican, North Dakota. And the committee was investigating the financial and banking interests that underlay the United States' involvement in World War I. Wow. And because of H.C. Engelbrecht's book, The Merchants of Death, a lot of Americans were convinced that the U.S. entry into World War I had been orchestrated by none other than bankers and arms dealers for profit and other reasonings, which led to the isolationism of the 30s and the desire not to fight. Now, the reason I bring this up, and it's sort of important, is because back in the 30s, there were 4 major parties in your country. Do you know what they were?
What were they?
The Republicans, the Democrats, the Communist Party, and the Ku Klux Klan.
All right.
And FDR was falling back into another depression by this time. Mm-hmm. So he went and did the Neutrality Act, which was signed and passed on November 4th, 1939. But this led to the famous Lend-Lease Agreement. And the Lend-Lease Agreement was, after the war had started, the act that was passed by your Congress that allowed the president to lend, in this case, 27 destroyers to Britain and lease, or lend and lease ships and lend war supplies. So before the U.S. even got into World War II, they had lent to Britain $50.1 billion worth of ships and supplies. The equivalent today, $697 billion you'd already spent before World War II started.
Okay.
So there you go, folks. You been there before? I think so.
Yeah. From our text line, 4788298. Oh, Tom, come on. Bears are sleeping while we're skiing. You need your gun for cougars then, not bears. Well, I was referring more to Canadian pandas coming down to kill you. So now you're right. The bears are hibernating probably while you're skiing. So
and not here.
Yeah, I guess mountain lions and they don't hibernate in Canada.
No, the bears in the lower mainland don't hibernate. They're out year round. Yeah.
Well, not here anyway, but maybe down further south than we are. But pretty sure they hibernate here.
Look, I'm 500 miles north of you, and we have bears year round. Give me a break.
Well, you have that funny temperature crap
Yeah.
up there. I don't know what it is. But anyway, we got to take another quick break. And we'll be right back after these important words. And of course, we got to test the emergency broadcast system. So that'll be entertaining hearing that little buzz every few seconds. I know you love it. So that's why we do it early. So we'll be right back. 7 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 57 degrees outside. Jay Matobin, half man, half amazing, the best co-host in America, who happens to be in Canada,
That's right.
is on the line with me. So, Tommy,
I got to tell you, that test you hear, every time I hear it, it reminds me of air raid sirens going off during the Cuban crisis when I lived in Billings, Montana.
Oh, yeah?
Because at Paula Drive School, we had the air raid siren in the back in the schoolyard. And
oh, okay.
That was scary. So my question to you, real quick before we go on, do you think they'll ever have to activate it, Tom? How scary would that be nationally? Nationally.
Well, depends on what Kim Jong-un does, I guess.
Or something.
or Iran.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to need. I don't know if we're going to need that or not. But
hope not.
I hope not. Yeah. Hey, don't forget. I'm looking at our app chat. I'll get it in a minute. We got our text line, our app chat. I get them confused. We got a lot of people entering for the football tickets, so it's an easy way to do it. If you got our AM 1450 KMMS app, if you don't, get it at Google Play or the Apple Store, and download our app. And right next to the listen button, where you can listen to our show on your smartphone, right next to the listen button is the app chat button. All you got to do is text us Soapbox to that number. Or to that thing, and
it's going to pop out a name today.
Yeah, it'll pop out a name today, we'll notify the winner immediately. Of course, when we do it by phone at 7:00, and then after the show, we'll do the drawing of the app chats for the second pair of tickets. So you can enter both ways, but only one winner. We can't give somebody 4 tickets. So. And the great thing is, when you get to the game, you'll be sitting with other KMMS listeners side by side, so you can talk about how great Tom and Shane are, and how grateful you are you got free tickets from them and all that. And we're going to be giving away tickets to all the home games, I think, as we go through the season. And next week, we're going to be giving away tickets to Jay Owen House. And we'll have VIP tickets for that. You can go backstage and pet the tiger and see all his gizmos and everything, and meet him in person. And he'll be in here, I think, next Thursday for an interview on the air. So you can talk to him if you want to know how to saw a woman in half. He'll tell you, I'm sure, how that works.
And we want all those parents out to know that you or your children will be given a chainmail glove, to pet the tiger with.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, right.
Safety first.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I don't know, but anyway, I'm sure it'll be safe to pet the tiger. I guess I don't know, but anyway, we'll talk to Jay about that. How they're going to do that? Is it just on a long leash or what?
It's duct taped.
Yeah. Is it duct taped to the floor or what? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, from Jay what's going on there. So, but anyway, on your AM 1450 KMMS app chat us Soapbox, and that'll put you in the drawing for the tickets, 2 tickets, and we're going to give away 2 tickets at 7:00, and we'll give you when to call. So don't call before, because I'll hang up on you. And I hate doing that, because I don't hang up on people. So
this is the righteous eagle, man. So he'll get it all right. He always does.
All right. Well, we had somebody text Soapbox to our text line. Now you got to do it on your app chat. You got to do it on the app chat. So listen
to the eagle dad. Okay.
Right. You got to do it on the app chat. We won't do it on the text line. Well, either by phone, for those that don't have a smartphone, can do it by phone. We'll take calls at 7:00, and we'll get a winner of 2 tickets, and we'll also after the program we'll do the drawing of the of the app chat entries and announce the winner, or the winner will be announced to themselves, I guess. We'll call them and let them know they won.
Yeah.
So got to pick the tickets up between 8 and 5 before Saturday's game. 8, you got to pick them up either today or tomorrow, as we're not here on Saturday.
That's right. And be reminded, the computer is the algorithm is a very clean one.
It is.
It pops it out. It doesn't poop it out. Okay?
Yeah, so it pops it out. Yeah. There's a physical. It's a lot like opening a beer can sound. Pop. The name comes out. So, that's a lot of fun. So. Either call us and we'll give out the numbers and everything to call, and the time and what caller we'll take as the winner, and we'll do that coming up in about 2 or 3 minutes. So, or about 3 minutes actually. So stay tuned for that. All right. So, all right. Let's see. We're ready to go. So, hey. This is it.
It's time for a break, right? Is that what
it is saying? Time for a break, yeah. So it's also time to end this segment. Coming up at 7:30, Kevin Maxwell will be here. They're going to have a suicide walk coming up on Saturday. So, all right, time to win some tickets. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. I will take the fifth caller. Fifth caller, 522-8255. Win 2 tickets to this Saturday's Bobcat game with Southeast Missouri State. And Shane and I will be happy to come back with you, and we'll have a happy winner when we come back after the news at the top of the hour. So stay tuned and give us a call, 522-TALK, 522-8255. We'll take the fifth caller. Will be a winner of Bobcat tickets for this Saturday's game with Southeast Missouri State. So we'll be right back with more right after this. Welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 57 degrees outside. We gave away the tickets, so we are thankful for that. Our next ticket giveaway for Bobcat tickets will be the game on the 21st against Norfolk State. And then we'll have one on the 28th with, that's Military Appreciation Day against Northern Arizona. We'll have the homecoming game on Saturday, October 12th versus Sacramento State. And we'll have, November 2nd, Southern Utah, and November 23rd, the Cat Grizz game.
Yeah.
So we'll have those all coming for you. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling you on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, this is some old guy you might know.
Hey. How you doing, old guy?
Well, pretty good. How are you, Shane?
Good morning, good sir. I'm terrific. Thank you for asking.
Well, I got some good news today.
All right.
All right.
My daughter-in-law is getting her citizenship today at Gardner, Montana.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something. She's beautiful. Marilyn Monroe ain't got nothing on this girl.
Where is she from?
She's from Russia, from the Ukraine. It's the Ukraine. And
really?
Anyway, she's a beautiful woman. And anyway, I wanted to say that. And another thing I wanted to say about Walmart and their guns and selling their ammo, they have every right to do whatever they want. They're, as long as they don't go against the First Amendment, which they're not doing. They have a right to sell or not sell their products.
Mm-hmm.
But, this whole situation with the way we're in here, I don't know what you two guys think. It doesn't really look too good to me. And not with just the guns, but with the whole thing, our economy and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, have you taken a drive around Bozeman and looked at the empty buildings that's in there, the big buildings and apartment buildings that are empty?
Well, I haven't seen too many empty. I don't think we have much of a vacancy rate here. Jeff Krause, and I know I meet with a a group of folks every Friday, and one of them's a realtor, and I don't think anybody's talked about apartment buildings being empty, but maybe they are. I don't know.
They are. They are empty. We've taken a drive around in business places, and of course, Perkins, they're out of business.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kmart went out of business.
Yep.
JB's restaurant went out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the motel there on Main Street went out of business.
Yeah.
Basically, it's because of taxes. They keep taxing the people that own the buildings and stuff, and they're not taking no income in.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I think the place on the hotel on Main was, I think that was a divorce deal, if I'm not mistaken. But
it could
neither
be.
Here nor there. But
Yeah,
anyway.
The 4Bs owned it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they owned
did.
the restaurant.
Yeah.
The street.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did.
So I don't know if they still own it or not, but it's kind of. I drove around, took a look at a lot of buildings, and I seen a lot of apartments that are being built, and some that isn't got anybody in them.
Right.
And I was kind of wondering, and them two big hotels. Now, what about them, Tom? Who the hell is going to rent them rooms in there? And there's some businesses in that one. I think it's the Element, the business they're in.
Yeah.
And
well,
then
that's what my wife keeps asking. When, who's gonna be in all these hotels?
Right. And where the hell are they going to park at?
Well, yeah. The parking garage is right across the street from one of them there. But anyway, yeah. But, yeah, you're right. It's an issue, that's for sure. But it's Hotel City out by 90. I mean, can't build enough of them out there. So obviously, the people don't put these things up to be not rented. So I think they've done their homework as to how many people fly through here or drive through here or whatever. And, they got national reservation situations and all that. They are going to tear down the Holiday Inn and rebuild it.
Yeah,
that's coming up.
Yeah, I know that. I was just kind of wondering what you two guys thought. Now, Shane, he's from this country, and his sister lives here.
Yep.
And I'm just wondering what you guys thought about this. And somebody told me that, I don't know how accurate this is. I don't know if it was Jeff or who it was. It said there was over 100,000 people here in the valley.
Yeah, in the county. I believe there is, yeah.
About 115,000 total in the county.
Yeah, probably somewhere near that. I think we passed 100,000 a couple of years ago, I think. But,
okay, well, I didn't know for sure, but I was kind of wondering.
And we're close to 50 here in Bozeman, I think.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, has the city decided on if they're going to produce homes for these homeless people or a shelter?
Well, HRDC signed off on about 20 homes they're going to put up. I forget exactly where, but they got a grant, and
I heard that these houses would house people that was making 40,000 and under, huh?
I think so. I think they're in the 200,000 range or something like that, and they have to stay at that price supposedly. And so I don't know what happens if you're making 30 or 40,000, then all of a sudden you get a raise or you get a better job.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they come along and throw you out, or do they check your income every 6 months, or you got to submit a tax return every year? I don't know. I don't know how that works, but we should probably maybe get somebody from HRDC in here to kind of explain
that would be
how that affordable housing works. Yeah, I'll try and see if I can get somebody in here from there that wants to talk about that.
There's one other thing I wanted to say. Down in Manhattan, they got a place down there where they used to build the ducks. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think they make ammunition down there. And from what I seen in the windows there, when I went down to the Potato Festival. And so I think if a guy wanted any ammunition, that'd be the place to go.
Yeah.
For your pop gun. But anyway, I was just called this morning to tell you that at least something wonderful is happening today for me and my wife. And
good.
Boy.
Well, we like good news, There's enough bad news out there. We like good news once in a while.
And there's one other thing about that, though, and I might have said this before. When she came to this country, to get a green card, it cost her $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she renewed it, it cost her another $800. And today, I think it cost her somewhere between $700 and $1,000 to become an American citizen.
Yeah.
So nothing's free here in this country.
No, it isn't. No. Death and taxes. That's what we got.
Boy, we sure got that.
Only thing is certain.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe there's somebody out there that could comment on some of these things. You know, as long as they don't mess with that word infringed.
Yeah.
Constitution, I think that, like I said, Walmart or anybody else can do what they want. But once they start being on the right to own that weapon,
yep.
When they say you can't, that's the time that, like the Declaration of Independence said, you have the right, you have the
well,
to change it.
Robert Francis O'Rourke wants to buy them back from you. He wants to buy your assault weapons. Selling them is mandatory, but you know, he wants to buy them back. He wants to compensate you for,
they did that.
Taking your weapon.
They did that in Australia, and the Australians said it was the worst thing that ever happened to them.
Yeah, well, these guys aren't the smartest. They're not the sharpest tool in the drawer,
Yeah, go sell them an old gun and go out and buy a new one. That makes a lot of sense.
That'll work. Yeah. Well, he wants to buy the automatic weapons. He wants to buy your AR-15.
I'm being
I know
cheeky.
you are. Yeah.
This much
So
about.
I want to congratulate you and your missus. It's always wonderful when a son or a daughter brings home a daughter or a son. So in this case, your son is bringing home a daughter to you. That's pretty wonderful. Congratulations.
It is. It is. My wife and I are really tickled about it, and we're going to leave here in about 5 minutes as soon as I quit talking with you guys and go in with my son, and then we're going to go to Gardner and watch and take some pictures and watch her being sworn in. And other people, there's other people that are going to be there also.
All right, yeah.
But anyway, if they ever...
Now we want you to quiz her at lunch when you go to celebrate. So when you call tomorrow, you can tell us how much she knows about your country.
Yeah, there you go. You can give her the citizenship test.
Yeah.
That girl's, 3 or 4 different languages also.
Well, okay. Well, she can answer in any language you want.
Well, the thing is the American people are kind of lazy in some respects. You take people that want to come here, they assume our languages and they learn it. You know what I mean? And
absolutely.
And I think it's kind of a wonderful thing. And I think the American people, maybe we ought to learn another language or something. I speak a little Spanish, not much, but a little bit. Yeah. And I think that probably, America's a wonderful place if the politicians will treat the people right, which they're not doing very good now.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I got to say. And
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call and good luck. Have a safe trip.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, Shane and I are still concentrating on learning English before we branch out into other languages.
Yeah, I have enough time speaking Canadian.
I got to say, if you're listening to any of our broadcasts, English is probably our second language. We're not sure what the first one is.
But, we also speak Australian and New Zealand. And we speak a lot of languages.
Yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, says Perkins is going to be a Montana club. So I guess we'll see what's going to happen there. I hope they put the flag back up. That's the, they got that flag pole there, and driving into town, if you're coming from somewhere else, that seeing the Bridgers with that big flag standing out there really says America to me. And boy, it's sad to see that empty flagpole as I drive back and forth. So let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Call you on the air. What's up?
Well, that Clint guy, he sure has gall to say what he did on the radio. Because now, maybe we need to look at him as, Trump could be investigating him next as being being part of that Russian collusion.
Oh, the Russian, the Russian fix it.
And we all know how Clint is about water,
Yeah.
So he could have been put here years ago as an implant.
That could be it. Yeah. This is.
So we got to be real careful about that. So I'll be safe now.
All right. We'll alert the FBI. make sure this all checks out. So while we're doing that, while we're checking with the FBI, here's a few words you'll want to remember and places you'll want to frequent. So we'll be right back right after this. 21 minutes after the hour, Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 56 degrees outside, Shane, and we're looking for a high in around 89 today. So, but 60s next week, and fall is coming.
It is indeed, buddy.
You know, we
It's
got
on its way.
that, we got, well, September 1st is kind of fall, and then with that tumbling equinox comes in on the 21st, I think. Whatever that thing is.
There you go.
Yeah, why don't they just call it the fall equinox? Why is it a tumble or something like that? What a tumble or why tumble or something?
And it won't be too long till we fall back on the clock.
That's
so
right, November. That's
coming.
Yeah, that'll be in November. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, it's we got the downside of the year coming, Shane, and got Halloween, we got the Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and oh my God!
And the NFL starts tonight.
Yeah,
Whoop.
Yep.
The
NFL regular season.
100th.
Yeah, starts tonight.
100th anniversary, folks. 1919. Wow, here we go.
Yeah. In fact, the Grizz and the Bobcats have been playing longer than that.
I know.
Yeah.
Incredible. College football has been around.
Indians were attacking wagon trains when these guys were playing. I mean, come on. Right. Holy mackerel.
Exactly.
I think they played in Butte because that was about halfway in between each one or something like that. I forget where they played, but I don't think they. Can you imagine taking a wagon train from here to Missoula for the Cat Grizz game?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Take a head of cattle along with you to have something to eat on the way.
Exactly.
I don't know. Pretty bad there. So, let's see. We're getting down to the bottom of the hour here. Coming up at 7:30, we're going to have Kevin Maxwell's going to be in. They got a suicide walk coming up this weekend. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Suicide obviously is a big deal in this country, and particularly in Montana. We seem to have a large number of suicides in Montana compared to other states, I guess, or per capita in our state. We'll maybe see if Kevin's got some numbers on that and why we're having this suicide walk and all of that coming up. So we're going to be doing that at 7:30. 8 o'clock, of course, open lines. Anything you want to talk about? In local news, a van fire set off a 500-acre fire in Three Forks.
Yeah,
so that's kind of a big deal there, and so that's kind of newsworthy, I guess, that we've got that going on, and some other things that are happening, I guess, that we need to talk about locally at least is that. Med costs in Montana. Wow. 39% of Montanans between the ages of 19 and 64 made changes to medicine in 2014 because of the price. They're either not taking their full dosage or, cutting back, or they're asking their doctor, is there a generic available, or is there something that my insurance will cover if I have insurance? But they were saying that 35% of Montanans with private insurance changed their medicine in 2017 because of price, and that's according to the State Health Access Data Assistance Center, and that's up from 21% in 2014. So changes could include asking a doctor for cheaper meds or taking less medication than prescribed or buying them outside the country. So you can also do that as well. So buy them from Canada.
Huge employer. Over 25% of the workforce in Montana works in the medical industry. Mm-hmm. So it's and they have the highest wages of any other industry in Montana. Yeah.
Well, the other thing they're talking about too is that these numbers, come. A sample is never going to offer a perfect reflection of an entire population. I always if you don't believe a blood test, have the doctor take all your blood and test it.
Well, not all of it.
Well, why not? I mean, that would be the perfect blood test if you tested all of it.
Yeah, drain you right out like a sack.
Just have a bucket there and fill it up, and get that taken care of. So
it's only 3 gallons.
Yeah, right. Well, okay. Well, you have a small bucket then.
All right.
Let's see. From our text line, 478-8298. In a bold move intended to curb thousands of deaths from vehicles each and every day, Walmart has decided to quit selling auto parts. Sources confirmed Tuesday. Yeah, I doubt Walmart's going to stop selling auto parts. Anyway, that's a little facetious there. And hey, we thank you for that. That's good news to have. So that'll increase the size of the toy department.
Exactly.
So that will work fine. Yeah, that'll be a good one. All right, let's see. In other news, gosh, we got all kinds of news today, Shane. Everything's happening here. And
it always does.
Yeah, well, yeah, it certainly does seem to. That's for sure. Let's see. Well, as you heard on our Montana State News, Bullock is going to issue an executive order. We're going to try to get all the medical providers on one page. So wherever you go for your medical attention or whatever, we're going to start sharing that information with hospitals and clinics. And so apparently you can walk in anywhere and they'll have access to your medical records and all of that. So I don't know if that's a privacy thing or not as to what clinic I want to have my all my info or whatever. I guess it's a good idea if you're sitting down with somebody who's going to prescribe medicine or a procedure for you. They ought to have the full story on your health.
Well, yeah, it's because of the HIPAA Act, or known as the Kennedy-Kassenbaum Act, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, which was set up by your federal government to develop electronic health care. And it was followed by the Health Information Technology for Economic and Clinical Health Act, HITECH, which was enacted under Title 13. And, they've only spent $25.9 billion to promote and expand the adoption of this. And they spend as much as $36.5 billion to create the national network of electronic health records. Problem twofold. Number one, you have to agree to do it because it's your personal information.
Right.
And of course, people aren't. And number two, states aren't sharing the information with the federal government. So there you go. Big problem.
All right. Well, the state received a $19 million grant from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid to help pay for the project. They want to connect states' physicians, hospitals, primary care providers, pharmacies, labs, and medical imaging providers. So we'll see how this all works out. Coming up next, Kevin Maxwell is going to join us. We're going to talk about a suicide walk, and we're going to talk about, unfortunately, the suicide numbers in Montana and, maybe some of the signs and things like that people can look for to maybe get help for folks who may be in trouble. We'll be right back with more right after this. 24 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 59 degrees outside, Shane. And we're looking for a high in the mid-80s. So no Kevin yet. He may have forgotten it or had the day wrong, or maybe I have the day wrong. I don't know. But anyway, from our text line, 478-8298, new research estimates up to 440,000 Americans are dying annually from preventable hospital errors. How does that compare to gun deaths? Well, gun deaths went down actually in 2018, down from 15,000 to 14,000. Gun injuries also went down from 31,000 to 28,000. So that's from Gun Violence Archive, the source of that info.
Yeah, and one of the sad things, which would be nice because with Ken we could have talked about, or Kevin, is that in your country, like 2/3 of those are suicides. Like,
Yeah, this doesn't include suicides. These
Yeah.
the numbers I just gave you,
Oh, okay.
15,000 and 14,000 don't include suicide. So it would be higher than that in the as if the full numbers are in, of course. And
Yeah, the worst number is the 15 daily deaths from suicide vets. That's
Yeah.
the hard. That's like the drug problem. How many people are dying in your country every day from overdoses? It's
That's
very
true.
sad.
Yeah, it is sad. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
I'd just like to remind everybody that there's a Murdoch's in Four Corners, Livingston, and North 7th where you can get all the bullets you like.
There you are. All right.
And they got a bunch of other stuff that you can use at your house and your ranch because it's a place to supply stuff for your farm and your home and your ranch.
That's for sure. Murdoch's a great place.
Yeah, last time I went into Walmart, they sell like cans that you can put gas in.
Mm-hmm.
They sell tanks that already have the propane in them. They sell the lighters that you can light the fuse to blow up the propane tanks. So, I mean, it's absolutely freaking ridiculous. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do the next time I go to Walmart. I'm going to go through the store, and I'm going to put everything in the cart that I normally spend $200-300.
Yeah.
And I'm going to walk up to the manager, and
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him to go put it back on the shelf because I'm never spending a freaking dime in the store again. and then they'll get a point.
Yeah, well.
I don't think that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good day, guys.
All right. Well, yeah, I guess. There's two sides to this, obviously. The flattest pancake has two sides, Shane. So, that Walmart can do whatever they want to do as a business, as long as Clint said they're not infringing on the Second Amendment. But on the other hand, in this part of the world, guns are different than they are in Chicago and New York and Baltimore and Detroit and, all these other places where everybody shoots up the streets. We're a little more responsible here. And also, a lot of us carry guns for protection. If we go out in the woods or things, there's snakes, there's, other animals that are, can certainly cause bodily harm to you. And, going out there with a little protection isn't a bad deal, whether it's an AR-15 or whether it's an AK-47 or whatever it is, or a rifle or a shotgun or a pistol. Well,
I just as an analogy, I live in a large city, a suburb of Vancouver. So someone's trying to break in the house while I'm here, and I dial 911 and say, someone's breaking into my house. Okay, I could wait an hour for an officer to arrive.
Wow.
Seriously.
Wow.
Now, if I call, if I were to do, hypothetical,
Mm-hmm.
if the same thing was happening and someone's trying to break in the house and I dial 911 and I yell, help me, my address. He says he's got a gun. Within minutes, there'll be a dozen police at my house.
Oh, you got to have a gun, huh?
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is that in rural America, you can't call anyone because
True.
whatever's happening will be over by the time they get there.
Well, I was going to say in our county, we're as big as Delaware, or Rhode Island. I mean, they've got 5 counties in Rhode Island, which we've got 1, and we're bigger than they are. And the number of I was going to say the number of state police or the sheriff's department or whatever, they've got to cover that whole thing, all the way down to Yellowstone Park, all the way up to whatever's north of us. What
did you say for this new police center you're building? Did you say you have 20 police officers or on staff?
Oh, I'm not sure what we have here in Bozeman. I would say 20 is probably close to it. Yeah. I would think. Sheriff's Department. I'm not sure how many. I'm not sure how many deputies we have, but.
And every county in Montana elects a sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
True. And they have 1 or 2 deputies. So most counties have maybe 2 or 3 officers for the entire county, and some of your counties, it can take a day to cross.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many. We'll have the county commissioners in tomorrow, I think, at 8:00. Maybe we could. Maybe we need a county commissioners list of questions. We'll ask them how many cops we've got. So put that down for tomorrow. We'll chat with them and see what's going on. Yeah. So, but yeah, you're exactly right. If you live in town, that's one thing. But if you're, if you're out in the county somewhere, having self-protection is not a bad idea. I would encourage you to learn how to use the weapon. Obviously, don't just buy it and put it under your pillow. Go out and do some shooting at one of the shooting ranges around here, or do it. Take a course or whatever. Right. Those kinds of things. But,
and the university has a security force, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, there's. If something happened in Bozeman, I'm sure you'd get 20 or 30, sheriff, police, university, whatever.
Yeah.
To secure something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But again, if you're in a rural America, if you're in Two Dot, Montana,
right? Yeah.
All right.
Or checkerboard, yeah.
Yeah.
You're in trouble. Yeah.
You're in trouble if you don't have a weapon.
I was gonna say it's gonna be a while. Let's see. From our text line, has the hurricane devastated Alabama yet? Well, Alabama dodged the bullet. It was headed straight for them, and for whatever reason, it turned. So.
Well, this is an interesting thing about these hurricanes. Obviously, that you can't. They try to project them by computer, storing all the storms that ever have happened, but. Originally they thought it might hit Florida and go across Florida to the west side, which
they did.
Is where Alabama is. So if it had, Alabama would have been in it. Like, that's what they thought last week and to the middle of the week.
And then it stalled over
that's right.
Bermuda for a day and a
Bahamas.
half. Or Bahama, I mean, not Bermuda. The Bahamas for a day and a half.
Actually, Bermuda may get hit. It's up north, right? It's off the coast of New York, but it could get hit.
Then it just changed course unexpectedly and went up the coast. And
praise the Lord, you know.
Yeah. Now the upside of this, I guess, if you want to blame Trump for this, then you can consider Dorian as a major job creator along the coastal part of the United States, almost all the way up the United States. So from that,
well, regrettably, you and I have talked about this since we've been on the radio about hurricanes, and what an economic factor it has, because any of these billion or multi-billion-dollar hurricanes, are infrastructure programs because of the rebuilding and replacement. You got to replace all the appliances, all the furniture, rebuild. I mean, it's a massive undertaking, but it enhances the economy. Mm-hmm. So, everything's relative, right, Don?
Well, that's what they tell me anyway, so I don't know.
Okay, now we got to talk about the market because
we got to take a break before we talk about the market.
It's a tease. Come on.
Okay. All right. Okay, tease. Go for it.
The market's up, and I want to tell you why. That's all. It was a tease.
Well, okay. I didn't think you were watching your clock, so.
Of course I am. It's 6:45:17.
All right. We'll be right back. 12 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, September 5th, 2019. 60 degrees outside. We're looking for high in the 80s, 90s, somewhere in that neighborhood. Let's see. Tom, you think you've done away with your uhs. You're only replaced them with an he, and they, and okay. All right. I'm working on, I'm really trying really hard to do that, but it's not easy. If hurricanes are good for the economy, why don't we just start carpet bombing cities? Because we can turn them into a rebuild program too. Shane has the strangest logic of any person I've ever heard. Well, I think I proposed that the hurricanes are job creators. So,
well, they are. I mean, it has an impact on the economy. It just does.
Well, they do. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Keynesian economists, Keynesian, I guess it is, Keynesian economists, ignore Say's law. We're paying the price. Would appreciate your and Shane's take on this article. He sent an article to us on the on this particular topic, and well, Keynesian doesn't work. we know that.
Well, it's a different format because that's more of the 20th century. But Say's law is classic economics. Say's law, or the law of markets,
right,
states that supply creates its own demand. That production necessarily increases aggregate demand by an equal amount. And the interesting thing is, this gentleman, Jean-Baptiste Say, wrote a book called A Treatise on Political Economy, 1803. So this goes back a long way.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
And he stated, a product is no sooner created than it, from that instant, affords a market for other products to full extent of its own value. In other words, competition.
Right.
So to compare that to Keynesian is a bit different. Say basically was defining capitalism, in 1803, which is pretty amazing. That's pretty brilliant. Keynesian was more of a debt. His analysis was debt. And his principal claim was that if you have a recession, the government should spend to speed up the economy.
Right.
And go
to bring you out of it. Yeah.
And to bring you out and go into debt to do it.
Right.
But the other half of it, as I've said time and time again, is when the government makes money because the economy is growing and it's collecting more taxes, you pay the debt down.
Right.
So the problem is politicians are happy to spend the money, but they never use the taxes to pay it down.
To pay it down. That's the issue.
Which is why you have a $22.5 trillion debt.
Right.
Now, the one guy that followed this was Clinton and the Republicans in the 90s. And they proved that it worked because by 1998, the U.S. was not issuing 30-year bonds.
Yeah. And
they were paying down the debt. And they were going to cut out 15-year bonds and only do 10 and 5-year bonds, but the market demanded they couldn't. And it wasn't until what happened with 9/11 and the need for debt or for more money that the 30-year bond came back. But anyway, it's an interesting aspect of the world of money.
It is. All right.
I
hope that explains it, or hope that that it all works out. And as they say, build a better mousetrap, they'll beat a path to your door. Well, not if they don't know where your door is. So you got to let them know where the door is if you got a better mousetrap. That's part of it that they leave out. People aren't just beating paths saying, "Where's the hell is that door?" We'll be right back right after this. 6 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 60 degrees outside. Good morning, everyone. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor. Shaman Taubman, half man, half amazing. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox. And, well, we've been talking about the economics and all of that, I guess, this hour. From our text line, if Germany attacked Turkey from behind, would Greece help? That's from Kenny.
That's nasty.
Tom, you might consider how your language supporting the right to own firearms can play into the left's anti-gun assault on the Second Amendment. Rural Montana has no superior right to keep and bear arms over any American locality or community. Shall not be infringed applies to all citizens, whether you live in Chicago or Two Dot, Montana, and I would agree fully with that. The only thing that I was saying is that we treat guns differently here in Montana, I believe, than they do in downtown Detroit and Baltimore and New York City, or places like
100%.
that.
Rural America have guns primarily for hunting. That's primarily the reason.
Yep.
And the second reason is to defend themselves. That's just what it is.
Well, true. Yeah, that's exactly right. So.
Okay, now I got to cover. I got 1 minute, so I got to cover my T's. Okay, folks. Now you see a black cat bounce today. The Dow's up 399, S&P 536, and Nasdaq 121. Now the reason I say it's a black cat bounce is from yesterday it was down, but the real reason for this is because the U.S. 10 is up to 151. And the 30-year bond is up to over 2. Now, what that means, as we've talked, when the yield on bonds goes up, the price of the bond goes down. So when these bonds are down, well under 2, everybody that held them were selling them to the buyers that were coming to the U.S. to buy them. So they went to cash. Now they're taking that cash because the market bled off, and as I say, we're not in a correction. We're in a down market. They're buying up the market with the cash from the sale of the bonds. So it's a misnomer. Be careful. Don't be misdirected by it, because commodity prices tell you this. The price of crude is 56, and Brent in Europe is 61, and natural gas is 242, and gold is down $24. See, again there, same situation. Silver's down to 19. There's my minute. I didn't even get to commodities or currencies, but
Well, you got time if you want to go.
okay.
If you want to go to commodities, you got
Yeah,
2 minutes. You got 2 minutes.
Oh, well, the euro's holding at $1.10, and the British pound is up, even though they had this problem in Parliament with Johnson yesterday. But it looks like they're going to a fall election, so they're at 123 to the U.S. The Chinese currency is down at $7.14 to the U.S. The Canadian dollar's $1.32. Mexicans 1965 to $1 U.S. Starting to look like Venezuela to me, but that's a different story. And the commodities market is holding its own in value, but there's no major move because nothing's expanding, nothing's growing. There's no real building. China certainly is in a slump. I think they're in a recession, but they, of course, don't want to call it that. But we'll see where it heads. We'll watch for tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how the Dow ends today. I say it ends even. We'll see what happens.
Okay. All right, that wraps it up. From our text line, 478-8298, there are 40 sheriff deputies for Gallatin County.
Well, there you go.
According to our texter. Take the guns first, go through due process second. Donald J. Trump. Well, of course, that's an inaccurate quote of the process that the president was thinking of going through. We had he's talking about the red flag laws that weren't passed. So red flag laws were if someone was or if you felt someone was a danger to themselves or others, you could alert authorities. They would check it out. And if that person was dangerous, they might confiscate their weapons. So that's what it was. But red law flags died on the floor of the House and Senate and whatever. So
some states are initiating them, but
it's a state issue. Yeah, it's kind of a state issue. It's not a Trump issue.
That's right.
So
and the bottom line is the National Instant Criminal Background Check System is in place. We've read, we've read the list of things that disqualify you.
Okay.
And the FBI's done 250 million since this was initiated back in 1993. So, I mean, there is a system in place. They want to make it better. That's all.
All right. All right, we got to go. We still got a full hour left to go. We got Fox News coming up. We got Montana State News, Brooke Foster weather, lots of stuff to talk about. We still got local news and all of that coming up, so stay tuned for that. And we'll be back with more of the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane after these important words, so stay tuned. Thank you, Dan. Welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. I almost said 8 p.m. I'd be asleep at 8 p.m. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 62 degrees outside. We're looking for a high in the high 80s, early low 90s today. From our text line, 478-8298. When speaking of gun rights, the conversation tends toward individual rights to bear arms for personal protection. Shane gave an example of this need regarding inadequate response time. However, an equal emphasis should be given to the right to form a well-armed militia. This right was given to us by the Founding Fathers to protect the citizenry from a tyrannical government. This is the paramount reason the left wants to get rid of our guns.
Well, 2 points. First point, your Founding Fathers were referring to a militia because that's what they had to fight the British. And that was the people at the time all had guns, and they would call them up as a militia to fight initially the British. But here's a hypothetical. 80% of crimes in your country, or 80% of the murders, over 80%, are committed by handguns. So the hypothetical is this: 360 million guns in the U.S., and well over 60% are handguns. So if you were to do a buyback of handguns in the U.S., a Glock 40 costs approximately $550. So you're talking about the cost of that would be $1.2 trillion. So come on, folks, let's run some numbers. The numbers don't lie, people do. So, when Beto gets up and makes a comment, off the cuff, he doesn't talk about what would the cost be. He just says, oh, we should do this. But it's that slippery slope again. If you do this, it's an angst against, people having and being able to bear arms, and bad idea.
Well, I think it's just a red herring to get votes.
Yes.
There are people going to say, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. They don't have the clue what the cost of that would be. From our text line, neither Trump nor members of his team have shown any such retreat on the subject of red flag gun confiscation laws, which the president called for in early August, immediately after the El Paso and Dayton shootings. Well, yes. They're all for it, but some states are doing it, some states aren't. And as far as I know, it hasn't been in Congress, or hasn't been approved by Congress as a law, because I think it would infringe on Second Amendment rights.
And let's not forget the difference between a Democrat and a Republican. Republicans are full on, about state rights and states being able to determine the fate individually. Mm-hmm. The Democrats believe in a federal centralized system where the federal government controls everything.
And everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
When seconds count, the police are only minutes away from Pete.
Well, I'm glad he's safe.
Yeah. When seconds count, the police are only minutes away.
But when a criminal is using a gun, the only thing that stops him is another gun.
In most cases, that would be absolutely correct. That usually. From our app chat line, what is an assault weapon? Hammer, 2x4, knife, misogynist?
A car?
More people are killed by doctors than all gun violence combined.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you for giving away ticks to your loyal listeners. It's a nice gesture, and we appreciate that very much. We obviously must have had a winner on our app chat line. Our IT guy's on top of that. So, and we gave away 2 tickets earlier today. So we are happy to do that for you. And we will be giving away tickets to all of the Bobcat home games that are coming up, including the Cat Grizz game. And next week, we're going to be giving away Owen House, Jay Owen House tickets as well.
There you go.
Stay tuned for that. And local news. Well, there's a small fire in Yellowstone again, Shane. The Wob fire is estimated to be half-acre size in a remote area near Cache Creek, according to the park. Fire was discovered Sunday by a backcountry ranger on patrol, believed to have been caused by lightning. There are no trail or campsites closures in the area at the moment. National Park Service photo shows smoke coming off a hillside with a mix of conifer trees and open areas. So there you are.
And when since we just were talking briefly about deaths in the United States, well, here's an interesting fact: the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates roughly 1.7 million hospital-associated infections from all types of microorganisms, including bacteria and fungi combined, cause or contribute to 99,000 deaths a year in a hospital.
Yeah.
So you may go in to get an arm fixed and end up dying from an infection you picked up at the hospital. Come on, folks, let's talk about these things.
All right. More on guns from our text line, 478-8298. The left can't take our guns if we elect a Democrat who sticks an R next to his name and fools his followers to support red flag laws and take the guns first, due process later. We've been duped. Well, guess what? The president isn't a dictator. President can't just wave his magic wand and say all guns are going to be taken away from people. We still have a constitution in this country. So wake up.
Yeah. Wake the H up.
Wake the H up. Please, for the love of God, wake up.
Yeah, exactly.
When we have a dictator, we'll announce it on this show.
Yeah, I would let. Well,
for
we
sure.
may not be able to.
Well, that's true. We won't be here.
We won't be.
There won't be any free speech if we have a dictator. So
That's right.
Shane and I'll be out of a job. So I don't know. We got that going for us. So let's see. In other news, Montana is selected for a $3.4 million grant to reduce youth homelessness.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. During the annual point-in-time count and inventory of all homeless people in the state on a single day, there were 146 homeless youth. Last year, the coalition provided housing to 570 youth across the state. So we may have some here locally because this is a pricey place to live, no question about it. So.
Well, they say there's 400,000 homeless in your country. I imagine it's much larger than that. But you think the Gates Foundation, which everything they're doing in the world to save people, could take some of their billions and solve the problem.
Spend it here rather than. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how I was homeless, as people have listened to this broadcast know, and it was me that pulled myself out of it. And it's when you think about it, Shane, it ain't a bad life. You panhandle for a little change. There's always a meal somewhere. Some church, some whatever will give you a meal. Generally, homeless stick together. They'll protect each other's goods. That kind of thing. No taxes. You don't have to go to work. You can just lay around all day and take it easy. And, as long as you're not on drugs or whatever, which I wasn't, it's not a bad life.
Well, in September of 2015, I was almost homeless, and my nephew, my sister's daughter, was kind enough to take me in and give me an opportunity to try to get back. So it can happen to anyone. When you're down, like I say, if you fall off a horse, get up, but don't get on another horse.
Right. Well, I could have called home, and I'm sure my parents would have sent money or whatever to, get me on my feet. But I thought, sometime you got to break away from the nest. You got to get out of the nest. And I was determined I was going to take care of this by myself. And eventually, I got a job eventually. But, in order to make your way, I would find all-night gas stations with a guy with a list of things to do, and I would tell him, I'll do the chores if you'll give me a tank of gas so I can go on job interviews. And those were the days when you could get incoming calls from phone booths. So yes. I would have to park my car near a phone booth because that was, I wasn't going to tell my employer I'm homeless. I'm living in my car. Here's my number. So if I do job interviews, then I would sit by the phone and hope somebody would call. But eventually found a job, eventually rented a room in a house, and eventually was able to get an apartment. In fact, my first job was in Oceanside, California. And I moved into a hotel with no lock on the door. So every night I had to take everything I owned into the room, and then the next morning haul it all out and put it in the car and go to work. So it was a fun time. Time. So.
And it's always an issue about how do you solve a problem. I mean, it's really about how you solve a problem, right?
Well, it is, yeah. I mean,
like one of the biggest problems for us, for the baby boomers, is our kids, the millennials. And
right.
There's now 44 million of them that now own. Are you ready? It's now 1.5 trillion in student debt.
Yeah.
So our solution to this, or mine, is no more interest on it. Just don't let this thing continue to expand and cost them more. Just the government the money's owed to the government directly, so don't charge them interest. Just let them pay the principal back, and it's a simple solution to what's becoming an overwhelming problem. Because those 44 million kids should be getting out of their homes of their parents, and helping to expand the economy, and they're being held back. And this is not rocket science. It's a real simple solution.
No, it is. You're right. From our text line 478-8298. Hard to keep clean when you're homeless. Well, that's certainly true. I took baths in gas stations. They always had the soap dispenser there, and you strip down, and that's how you did it. Okay. And I had a hatchback at the time, and I would lay my suits in the back under the hatchback window, and the sun would press the suits. So at least I look halfway decent going in. But as soon as whenever I had a job interview, I would take all that stuff off and put it back in the car so it wouldn't get all smelly or sweaty or whatever.
That's right.
And it's
we in my day back in the 80s, we called that a sink wash.
Yeah. Well, that's what it was exactly.
Yeah.
From our text line, 478-8298, there are homeless students at Bozeman High and a food pantry from Jerry. Yeah, I realize that there are homeless kids going to our local schools here. From our text line, I was close to having to live out of my car. Did you have the grunge camo wardrobe that the Bozeman homeless men wear? No, I gave up my camo when I came back from Vietnam. So didn't have the camo stuff, but I was always wondering. You used to see Vietnam vets all the time a few years back. And I always thought you never saw anybody with a sign that said Coast Guard, served in the Coast Guard. Help, please help. It's always Vietnam vets or Gulf War vets or whatever. Different world today, Tom. Now, if you hire someone to cut your grass for a tank of gas, you have to worry about liability if they trip and fall. Yes, that's true.
Right. Yeah,
that's true, man. I don't know that you could do it the same way that I did, but. Let's see what else we got. The founders created 3 branches. However, our current dictator wannabe has all the Republicans and millions of followers under his thumb. He can sell them he can sell them to give up their gun rights. Real conservatives tried to warn them. Trump is a New York City liberal to his bones. And again, I guess I've got to say it again. We do have 3 branches of government, and the president's not a dictator, and just because he wants something doesn't mean it's going to happen. So,
no, he's a problem solver. He's not a dictator.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't go there. All right, let's take some phone calls. 522-TALK is the number. Then we're going to take a quick break. So, caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Don, this is Keith.
Hey, Keith, how are you?
Hi,
Good.
Keith.
I just wanted to thank you for a couple pieces of valuable financial advice.
Okay.
One, I've told you before several times, if you live like most people won't, then you can live like most people can't.
Yep.
And now today you're given one that's maybe more valuable even than that. If you're strapped and you can't make your mortgage payment or your car payment, you have to choose, pay off the car. You can drive your car, but you can't drive your house.
That's true.
And you can live in your car, but you can't drive your house.
That's true.
And
very true.
So I want to thank you. I think I don't know whether you were on the radio before I started listening or not, but I've been listening, I think, probably since about 1994, 95. Mm-hmm. But I rarely miss a program, and I want to thank you for all this valuable information I've got.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks,
Okay.
Keith.
You bet. Bye.
All right, take care. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. 24 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m. It's Thursday, February 5th, 2019, 63 degrees outside. We're looking for a high today in the 90s, high 80s, low 90s. Then it gets colder, Shane. We're going to have rain coming in on Friday and all weekend, and then we're going to go down into the 60s next week. So should be kind of nice. So we're waiting for that.
That's right.
From our text line, 478-8298, you don't see a homeless with a sign, I had bone spurs. Anything helps? No, I don't think I've seen the bone spur sign. Of course, referring to our president who who some people claim got out of the military with a letter saying he had bone spurs. I don't believe the letter thing worked. Donald and I are about the same age.
Yeah, that's right.
So I remember the physical that I went through, and no letter is going to keep you from being examined. And if you claim to have them, they're going to find out if you do or you don't.
That's right.
So it doesn't matter that you got money or whatever. If you got money, go to college. You get a college deferment.
I'm sure he got a college deferment.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't know, but anyway, it doesn't work that way, or at least it didn't work when I went in. Otherwise, I would have just claimed, hey, I got bum knees. They'll say, okay, hey, you got a letter from anybody? Yeah, here's from Doctor. Turn your head and cough.
That's right. Yeah, here's a letter from my doctor in 2018 saying, hey, he has to replace both my knees.
That's right. Yeah, so I can't serve as much as I'd like to. Ooh, thank you. So
now, what was your daily pay?
$77.
Wow.
And we had to buy our own stuff too. You had to buy shaving cream, and you had to buy your razors and soap and
cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes were $1.10 a carton, so that was pretty easy at the time. I was a smoker at that time, but quit later on.
So what about these stories? With all these stacks of cases of beer everywhere. Like, who paid for those?
Well, they had 3-2 beer at the PX. Yeah, we didn't have the full blown stuff.
That's what I had in Denver when I was 18. We'd have 3-2 beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember when we first got to the staging area before we went to our regular place we were going to be, we were getting off the truck, and somebody commented, man, because it was just a tent in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it was a big open place, a big tent. And somebody got off the truck and said, man, this is pretty primitive or something like that. And the guy says, oh, no, we've got ice. I mean, that's when you know you're in paradise. You got ice for your beer and your sodas and whatever. And we used to get the Cokes with the Asian language, either Chinese or Korean or something, or Vietnamese or whatever. The Cokes were always in the local language, whatever it was. So when you got a weekend pass, you ever go to Saigon and eat Vietnamese food? Yeah. What was it like? Well, we didn't eat much Vietnamese food when we first got there, we could go to Saigon, on weekend or whatever. Yeah, just kind of a whatever. And we had some things there. I don't know. Asian food just never been my forte, I don't think. Yeah. Maybe egg rolls or something like that from China, but I don't know. I know you never learned to use the Chung King stuff you get at the grocery store was about as far as I went, but after like Uncle Ben's rice, right? Uncle Ben's rice and Chung King is what we lived on when we were poor. But anyway, after a time, Saigon was off limits, too dangerous, because of bombs, people throwing grenades into restaurants and stuff like that. So it became not a deal. From our text line, 478-8298, GOP Republicans go along with whatever Trump says. Well, I don't know. Democrats went along with whatever Obama said. Trump wants red flag laws. So what? So do Democrats. Kiss the gun rights away, especially if he wins in 2020. Trump will not have to answer to the NRA. Well, he won't have to. I don't think he answers to them now, anyway.
That's right.
Yet Trump did get draft deferments. It's a verifiable fact, common knowledge if you look it up. Bone spurs. Trump even admits he got off with bone spurs, yet he played football. He was a senator's son, sort of speak. Well, I don't know. Anyway.
Hey, listen, when the first draft came in the Civil War with Lincoln, people could pay $50 and not get drafted. So come on, it's been going on
forever
since this whole thing started.
All right, we got a caller waiting, Shane. We'll be right back. 24 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 63 degrees outside. Shane's been waterboarding a caller, so let's see what the caller's got to say. You are on the morning show with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, Tom, it's Mayor.
Hi, Mayor.
Hey, I got a couple of points on the sweeps week.
Yeah.
If you want people to listen, get rid of the AOC and the Trump lament sound bites, because I'm here to tell you, they play 3 to 4 times a day. There's a handful of them. And we've been listening to that, and I have the radio on pretty much all day long and most of the evening.
Right.
So I'm being waterboarded in that respect. But, I'm turning off. I'm finding myself as soon as AOC starts asking Mr. Sloan why they've caged children and have paid for it, I turn off the radio.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I don't turn it back on, or I'll turn it on to the FM station. So, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, because we've listened. I figured it out. It's probably we've heard each one of those at least over 600 times, which is enough to make you want to hang yourself.
Right.
So,
I will tell you that I do delete some of them during the morning because they are well worn, and also I'd rather, particularly if they're 40 seconds or longer, which some of them are, we could use that time to talk, or exchange ideas. So I absolutely will get rid of some of them in the morning. I am going to talk to Scott about that as to, do we need to have them every hour? In some cases, we want to promote Ben Shapiro because he's, on there, but I don't know that we need AOC, and I don't know that we need Trump talking about how much he loves the country and all that stuff. So
I have to tell you, when I talk to someone like Mary, I tell her, okay, his headphones are on. He's going to push the magic button. You're going to go live around the world because we're on the internet. And I said, now, Mary, what I want you to do is come up with something that'll go viral. I need you to come up with an expression that would go viral, all right? And she says to me, nah, then I'd have to listen to myself 3 times a day.
I know. Well, she came up with something viral when she talked about the border wall, or...
Yeah, and let me tell you, I got pretty sick of myself from that one, too.
Now, I did get rid of you after you asked me to.
I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. But the other thing I wanted to say, when some of these people are going on to Trump about being a dictator, they might want to look up what that means in the dictionary.
Yeah.
And then also with bone spurs, I've had bone spurs. I had bone spurs in my right hand that severed one of my fingers, that severed the tendon and shredded 2 others, where my hand was becoming basically useless. I've got bone spurs in my shoulder and arthritis. That has to be replaced, and my boss had bone spurs in her feet. She could barely walk. So whoever's like poo-pooing bone spurs have never had bone spurs. If they're in the wrong place, they can do some major damage, and they are extremely painful. So I'd get off the bone spur kick, for some of these clowns that think they know everything about everything, and they absolutely know nothing about anything. So that's my rant for the day.
All right. And a good job, too.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. It's a Mayor, not Mary.
All right, Mayor.
It's a Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor.
But anyway, well, as Dale Carnegie said, the sound of your name is the most beautiful sound you can hear. So get it right.
That's right, Eagle Man.
All right.
Which is why I always call you Righteous Eagle Man.
That's right. I am righteous. Well, the bone spur thing that Texter's talking about, the Texter feels it's phony, that he made up a phony thing just to get out of Vietnam and bragged about it. And I don't know if I'd gotten out of Vietnam, I might have bragged about it too. I don't know. But anyway, I was thinking, why isn't he talking about Richard Blumenthal, who claimed to be in Vietnam and wasn't? And got all these medals and didn't or whatever. So, hey, he's still in Congress voting for your red flag laws and anything else that you think you want. So I'm sure he's all in favor of red flag laws. So by all means, let's go after it. Several texts critical of Trump called him everything from New York liberal to communist-like dictator, once again with no proof. Since all views are welcome here without evidence, I'd like to say that all Democrats are blithering idiots. So I guess that takes care of that.
That solves that problem.
That solves that one. All right, we got to take another quick break. We'll be right back right after this. And Shane, you can entertain the caller while we wait, and I'll be right back. 15 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, September 5th, 2019, 64 degrees outside, and we've got a caller waiting patiently on the line. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, Thomas, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Good. Hey, Shane and I were talking about this. So, people are calling. They're all worried about Trump as a New York liberal, and Trump is not a New York liberal, and Trump is not going to start doing these the red flag laws or whatever. We're saying he controls the narrative of the media. The media obviously is completely left, completely loony, and so he uses them. And he did the same thing with the TPP, and he did the same thing with the border when he met Pelosi and Schumer, and everyone got all excited that he was going to join them and do all the stuff. And he walks it back, and he's doing it so he gets the average person who doesn't really know what's going on. The media starts salivating. The Democrats reach for more than more than what Trump's talking about. So they're going to, there's already candidates, of the 10 or 20 who are left on the Democrat side who are now talking about, well, when I get in, I'm taking away all the guns. You know what I mean? So he's pushing them so the average American will go, oh my God, these Democrats are kind of loony. And then he walks it back. Trump's not going to do all this stuff. He does it to get the Democrats to show their cards. He's saying he's tempting them, and they take the bait every single time.
And
so
I don't think, like we talk about, Tom, he controls the news cycle to support his base, and then he uses it, like Kevin's saying, to drive more Democrats to him, because that's what they do, right? That's what they end up doing.
Right. I mean, it's brilliant, and he's going to win in a landslide. And Bernie's not. We were talking about it. Bernie's too old. I have friends who were big Bernie supporters last time around. They don't even talk about Bernie anymore. So he's lost the excitement. He's fizzled out. Biden has the money and the establishment behind him, so maybe they'll try to drag his sorry ass across the line. But no one's excited for Biden. And Shane was talking about Bloomberg being a billionaire and having the money. But that's not, Trump didn't win because he was a billionaire. I mean, that was great that he could spend his own money and whatever, but Trump won because he got people behind him. No one's excited about Bloomberg. No one's excited about any of these people. That's why they're going to lose in a landslide.
Yeah. Well, Tom Steyer, same thing there. I mean, he's barely polling at all. He's spending $60 to get a $1 donation, on Facebook and these other places.
If being a billionaire got you the presidency, every president would have been a billionaire.
Well, you think so?
Last I checked, Ronald Reagan wasn't a billionaire. I mean, Bush has had money, but they weren't billionaires. I don't know. The money isn't the thing. You've got to get people excited, and none of these Democrats excite people. The two front runners are old white guys, which isn't going to excite the left.
Well, in fact, Biden, if Biden is elected, when Biden is sworn into office, he will be older than Reagan when he got out.
When he got out, right?
If you want to make that comparison,
right? No. Those two old guys are done, and none of the other ones excite anybody. Trump's going to win in a landslide. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks a lot. Enjoying the show.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. All right. Thanks, Kevin. All right, let's see. While in college, Trump obtained 4 student draft deferments. In 1966, he was deemed fit for military service based on a medical examination, and in July of 1968, a local draft board classified him as eligible to serve. In October of 1968, he was medically deferred and classified 1Y, unqualified for duty, except for the case of a national emergency. Trump said in 2015 that the medical deferment was due to a bone spur in his feet, and his presidential campaign stated that he had minor bone spurs in both heels and that they were expected to be temporary. In 1972, he was classified 4F, which permanently disqualified him of service. And in December of 1969's draft lottery, Trump's birthday, June 14th, received a high number that would have given him a low probability of being called up. Oh, let's see. Trump isn't playing 3D chess. He is returning to his NYC liberal roots that he's held since 2015 when he pasted an R next to his name. Let me understand this. Trump is better than Tom because he had his daddy pay for bogus draft deferment. Well, there's nothing that says he had daddy pay for anything. Apparently, you can play football with bone spurs. Well, that wasn't until he got out of college. He was a three-sport guy in college. Never made the honor roll. And what about ism? Blumenthal, who actually served and exaggerated, is worse than a draft dodger. Only in America, a man who went to Vietnam defends a rich daddy and a draft dodger. Well, I'm not defending him. It's just that who cares? I mean, this was a 68, you know. I don't care what somebody did in 68 at all.
That's right.
So
That's
it
right.
doesn't have anything to do with defending him from anything. The fact that the guy didn't go is fine. A lot of people went to Canada and didn't want to go. And a lot of people demonstrated in the streets against me. I don't hold them in contempt.
And I was eligible in 72 at 18 to be drafted as a Canadian resident here, and Nixon ended the draft. So there you go.
So, see? So, yeah. So I'm not going to defend Shane for not going.
Yeah, well,
cheapskate.
we've had this conversation before, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have a conversation with Rush right now. So,
all right.
Here's the Rush update that you've been waiting for all morning long. 4 minutes before the top of the hour, it's Thursday, September the 5th, 2019. Shane and Tom and Half Man, Half Amazing on the line, and Tommy Goloff, your morning mayor. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox, winding down this morning from our text line. 478-8298. I'm confused, Tom. Aren't all these folks insulting Trump as a New York liberals themselves? Shouldn't they be for him? I would think so.
Yeah, exactly.
I would think they would be for him.
Fair contradiction.
Yeah, 68,000 dead soldiers care about draft dodgers. Well, I will tell you one thing, that those of us who came back live with the guilt of why is someone's name on that wall that I know, or knew, I should say, and my name's not there. So we live with that. I haven't been able to make myself go out and look at that wall yet in Lindley Park. So
I can appreciate that. It's one of the hardest things of any returning vet in any conflict is that's the biggest issue, right?
Yeah. Trump said his Vietnam was avoiding VD. Well, I'll tell you a story about that. That we got 2 days off a month. We worked 7 to 7, and we got 2 days off a month in Vietnam. That was our rest time. And
oh wow.
We got an extra half day if there was no accidents. We got an extra half day if there was, if no one was speeding on the base. We had military police, so we were driving trucks around. If we were speeding, we'd get a ticket, so to speak. So we would lose a half day for that. Anybody in the company, this is company wide, no accidents, no driving. And we also got a half day off if nobody ever got VD. I never got an extra day and a half off ever. So just to show you the kind of place it was, and we were confined to base.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. So anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. In college, Trump was exempt from the draft and played football. As soon as he got out, he magically got terrible bone spurs and a deferment while Tom risked his life serving his country. If Trump were a Democrat, you would be so PO'd. I don't think so. I don't think I would at all. Obama didn't serve. I'm not PO'd at him. You know, he got college deferments just as well, you know, from
Clinton.
Clinton didn't go. I don't, haven't beat up on him for his military service
W
or lack of it. W didn't go. You know, he was in the National Guard.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us. Let's see, yeah. Hey, let's talk about Barack Obama. Time served in the military. Oh, wait, that's right. He didn't. Steve Bullock, is he still our governor? Is he still running for president? Or is he still taking a great vacation on Montana's dime? Where the hell is Bullock? Well, he won't be on the stage on the 12th.
That's right.
Oh, speaking of the coming up on the 12th, we had 20 people, right, Shane?
Right.
Well, I looked them up last night. We had 10 one night, 10 the next. You'd think there might be 6 from one night and 3 from the other. No, 5 from each one. 5 from each of the 10. I don't know. I think the fix is in.
Yeah, it's the Democratic Party. Give me a break. We've seen this before, haven't we?
All right. Say goodbye, Shane.
Bye, Mayor. It's always a pleasure. Look forward to speaking with you tomorrow morning. It's Friday. And everyone else, be happy, be safe.